firstly, you have a Lifetime movie, which I love because I love a good Lifetime movie. So tell me about that, who you play.
Well, I'm grateful that Lifetime came to me with this opportunity. I did a Lifetime picture a couple years ago with Sybil Shepherd called How to Murder Your Husband. And Lifetime is terrific at these thrillers, and they deliver. So they came to me with this, and I thought it was an incredible opportunity, because to play a serial killer, most actors, you get one chance in your whole life to play a serial killer, and this is a good one.
Right.
John Robinson was very famous in the 70s and the 80s, maybe one of the first media serial killer stars, if you want to say that.
Right.
And he was just a heinous individual.
Right.
So the research was really tough, but playing him was a great spending of my time, my craft, and my skill, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Did you do a lot of research?
I did. I did a ton of research on it. I gained some weight. I worked with our makeup and hair department. We did an hour and a half of makeup every day. Shaved my hairline back, pulled my eyes a little bit, did eczema on my skin. And then I spent weeks researching John, and it was pretty horrible.
Yeah.
I would spend an hour or two reading articles, magazine, or watching videos or television shows about him. Then I'd have to take a break because he was just so heinous, a just horrible person.
How did you put on the weight? What did you eat?
It was great. Ice cream, pasta, you know, that part was really fun.
How much weight did you put on?
I put on about 12 pounds.
And how long did it take you to lose it?
I haven't lost it yet. Actually, the great thing about this picture is we shot it in March, and it's going to be on in June.
Yeah, because they do it quick.
Lifetime really likes the picture, so they wanted to put it on quickly.
Right.
So I'm working on losing it. But meanwhile, I'm eating.
Right.
You got to eat.
Yes, you do have to eat. Did you know that you would become kind of, sadly, a mensch hero / during the fires?
Oh, the Palisades fires were very difficult. I was sitting there in the morning on Tuesday morning having a cup of coffee after I did a yoga class, and I looked up, I saw a plume of smoke as big as Godzilla, and I said, what the hell is that? So I got in my car and I started driving toward the beach near where I live, and there was traffic on Sunset Boulevard. I never saw that at this time in the morning. I parked my car on a side street, I ran to what is the big street toward my house, which is Palisades Drive, and there was cars bumper to bumper. And far away, I saw a little tiny dot, which was a fire. And I thought to myself, the helicopters are going to come, 10 in a row, and then the planes are going to come and put it out. But it started to grow, and it started to grow, and it was this big, 2 miles away. Before I knew it, it was coming toward us. And the police and fire personnel told everybody in their cars, abandon your cars and run toward the ocean. The fire's coming. So it was just pandemonium. Mothers with babies, people in wheelchairs, older people, younger people. The Calvary Church let out their kids, 500 kids looking for their parents. It was just unbelievable. So I was standing there, and I just happened to be there, and I realized that the fire trucks couldn't get through. So when people abandoned their cars, I jumped in people's cars and started parking them up on the curb to make a makeshift road for the fire personnel and the emergency personnel.
Was your house burned down?
No, but it's going to take a year to remediate.
Wow.
Terrible smoke damage.
Right.
The roof, the walls, all the ductwork through it, all the clothing, all the soft fabrics, the backyard, the pool, all the trees, everything needs to be replaced.
Are you enjoying living in New York now?
I love being here. I'm from New York. I was born in Borough Park, Brooklyn. We lived in Flushing, Queens, Massapequa, Long Island. I lived in the city for about 20 years, a few years ago. I love living here in New York City. It's great.
What's your favorite thing to do in the city?
Well, I would say go to the Lincoln Center fountain. And I love Lincoln Center. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
And that's one of my favorite places.
And
Carvel. And Carvel.
Really? What, Cookie Puss?
Well, of course, or Whale of a Dad.
And it's like there's so many great ice cream places. Carvel's so cheesy. No,
Excuse me.
It is.
It's Carvel.
It's cheesy. I didn't even know there's a Carvel store.
There is.
Where?
I don't know, but there is.
You were, for a while, the box office star. I mean, you were huge, right? And ka-ching, ka-ching. I always
Yeah.
think about that in terms of Police Academy. I'm sure the first one you weren't paid a lot, and then you had them over a barrel.
okay.
Like, yeah, I think a little more than okay. I
did
mean,
okay.
that's cool. And 3 Men and a Baby.
Actually, they were very generous on Police Academy 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
they were great.
So is that the best feeling when it becomes an unexpected hit and then they want to do a sequel and you can go in and you have the upper hand?
I think you have to be very careful of your ego
Right.
when you have a success as an actor.
Right.
Because it's a very fragile business.
Right.
And you cannot believe what you see.
Right.
You're very important today, and tomorrow nobody knows who you are.
Right.
So I have always been very level-headed about it. You, as an actor or a business person, you want a hit. You want a successful Beanie Baby. You want a successful restaurant. You want a successful career as an actor. So when you get hits, you're very lucky. Most actors on this planet, and there are millions of actors, can't even make a living.
Yeah.
So I feel so fortunate that the shirt that I wear, I bought with my acting money.
Right.
So I always find it to be it's very delicate business, and you have to be very, very aware of your ego and how you think about things, because it takes as much effort to make a bad movie as it does to make a good movie. So you put everything you can into a project, you do your research, you do your work, and you pray that it works. Because if it works, you get to do it again.
Right.
And most of life is about success. You know, people want to be around winners.
Right.
That's just the way it is. But I understand the rules of Hollywood.
Right.
And the rules of Hollywood are, we love you if you win, and we don't love you as much if you don't win. Oh,
Right.
here's my agent. Hold on. Hi, Bernie. I'll call you back. No.
So how is it, okay, I imagine when you're, when the first weekend, the box office from Cocoon or 3 Men and a Baby, whatever it is, right? And everyone's like, we love you, we want to be in the Steve Guttenberg business,
Yeah.
and da-da-da. How do you step away from that and be like, they're blowing smoke up my ass, I've got to realize that this is kind of BS and step away from it and not believe it?
What I think is, thank God, and come on into the store. I'm really glad to see you.
Right.
And I want to do as much as I can do. Because as an actor, you just have one body. If you were a dentist, you could hire a younger dentist to take care of all your other clients.
Right.
So I'm appreciative of it.
Right.
And I understand the rule. If you win, everybody wants to work with you. That's great.
Right.
I'm like that too. I want to work with successful people. I want to be around the director who just had a hit movie. I can be as superficial as everybody else, and we all are.
Right.
Because we want stuff that works.
Right.
So when I get a project that works and people come to me because that particular project worked and it's a hit, I'm thrilled that they come in. Yeah, I understand, and I don't begrudge them. I'm thrilled that they're here.
Right.
And I want them to stay as long as they can.
Right.
So I look at it as a plus. I don't think that anybody's blowing smoke on my ass, because I did win.
Right.
I did win the race.
Right.
So they do say wonderful accolades, but that's how it is.
Right.
And I'm all for it.
You, most importantly, I believe, played the Olsen twins' dad in a movie.
Mr. Calloway,
Right.
do you want a pony?
Did you?
I'll get you one.
Did you? They were huge, but
Sure.
But did you have any idea? It's amazing, kind of the mythology around them and how they're still.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's
Very
something about
relevant.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. They're great girls. They had great parents. They were brought up the right way. They have another brother and sister who are talented also, and they were good kids. And they were born. All of us actors are born with a certain equipment. Robert De Niro was born, who's one of the best actors that ever lived. He's born with certain equipment.
Right.
It kind of looks like a mafia boss.
Right.
So he's going to get a lot of those pictures.
Right.
I have round face, round eyes. I'm going to get certain parts because of my look. And the Olsen ladies, who are supremely talented to this day, had a great look. So they were on Full House, which was actually a step from 3 Men and a Baby, which
Yeah.
I'm really proud of. But they were wonderful, and they were good little actors. They grew up, they were creative, and they went on to create this fashion empire. And and I think that I would say the illusion about them is that they are untouchable or something. But every time I've seen them in person, which hasn't been in the last few years, they're really friendly and they're good people.
Right.
But they are very smart and very successful. And they have a brand, you know. I guess it's Row House,
Yeah.
I think is their brand. And
Yeah.
it's wonderful clothing. It's high-end clothing. And they are wonderful people. I think that we all love to publicize people and gossip, but I've always found them to be full of class and kindness, and I'm really proud of how they grew up. And they were great kids.
And I feel like the gays must love you because you were in Can't Stop the Music, like the
Can't Stop the Music.
campiest movie of all time.
You cannot get it. When I did that movie, I didn't know that I had no experience. I didn't know that the Village People came from a gay background, most of them, except for.
How did you not know that?
Well, I just didn't. You know, I was like the rest of the United States,
Right.
or the world.
Right.
You have an army man, an Indian, a cowboy, a construction worker. These are macho figures.
Right.
But they're great guys, and I've seen them over the years. Felipe and David, Alex, they're really good guys.
Didn't you wear really skimpy shorts in that?
I did wear really skimpy shorts, and actually Allan Carr, who was the producer, made Bruce, who's Caitlyn now, and I stuff our shorts with socks to make it look a little bigger.
Right. Did
Yeah.
you?
We didn't need it, by the way.
Of course not. Of
we
course.
didn't need it. I mean, I told Alan, no need for a sock.
Did you? I would have insisted on like giant tube socks. I hope you insisted on like heavy duty, like really thick sports
I put a
socks.
soccer ball down there. I said, hey,
Yeah.
let's go all the way.
Your Instagram account is very positive and very kind of zen and spiritual, and it's really lovely reading the comments.
Thank you.
What do you account for your positive attitude?
Well, my mom and dad are very positive. They've always been. And they've always taught me you have two choices in the morning. You can wake up and be miserable, think about what you don't have, or wake up and be happy and think about what you do have. And we all have a certain amount of happiness we want to achieve. The super who takes care of the building and the billionaire who lives at the penthouse actually want a 10 in happiness. So whatever that takes for you. And we're all different.
Right.
Not everybody can be the super, not everybody can be the billionaire. But if you can find a modicum of happiness and achieve maybe an optimum happiness and optimum experiences, like buying a stick of gum, really enjoy it, then you can have a happy life.
Right.
So I choose to have a happy life. And also, I'm really lucky. I have a great family. I have great friends. I have great people I work with. I've been given so many gifts over the years. I have a fortunate career, as it's impossible to make a living as an actor. Impossible. Completely impossible. And I've made a living. I haven't been a waiter since I'm 19. So I'm thrilled with my life, and I'm very lucky. Do I have tough times? Yes. Have I gone through years where I've had some darkness? Yes. Do I have dark days now? Yes. Do I have dark moments? Yes. But I try to battle them with optimism and thinking about what is real. So when the dark man comes in and starts to talk to me at 3 or 4 in the morning, tell me what I'm not, or during the day when I see somebody who appears to know the way and I don't, and start putting myself down, I say, wait a minute, that's not true. So with my Instagram account, it started with my dad when he was ill. I would be in the hospital, I'd come out during the day to take a break, and I would have a cup of coffee. There'd be people there to talk to. But I would take a break sometimes at 3 in the morning, come out, because I'd sleep in the room with him, and there'd be nobody there. So a friend of mine said, talk to your Instagram. Talk to the internet at that time. And people will talk back. And then people will talk back, I'm taking care of my son at 3 in the morning, taking care of my mother at 3 in the morning. I'm working a job at 3 in the morning. And I started to feel, so then that's how it started. I just started talking to the machine, and people started talking back.
Wait, what's your screensaver? Is that you shirtless?
This is my dad.
Oh, that's your dad. I thought that was
That's
you.
my-
I was like, wow, that's really vain.
That's my dad. He was a U.S. Army Ranger, New York City policeman
Wow.
in the 103 in Jamaica. He was plain clothes. He was undercover. He had a uniform, and he was almost 200 pounds of pure muscle.
So cool.
And that's my dad. I lost my dad. I lost my dad almost 3 years ago in July. It'll be 3 years, and he was my best friend. And so when I see that picture, you know, he says to me, "Be strong."
Right.
You know, I mean, one time in my life I started to cry, and I remember he turned to me and goes, "Are you crying?" I went, "No."